Today on the show, we have Dr. Frederick Ware Newsome. He is running for president of the United States, and we will be having a chat with him to find out more about his campaign and what he would like to do for the U.S. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Such a great opportunity.
Awesome job. Before we get started, let me go ahead and shout out my sponsors. Forget your producer. My beats are made by Michi. 93 Michi Beats. All right. So go ahead and tell everybody, where are you from?
Actually, I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I've been staying in Baltimore since 1998, but originally from Rochester, New York. And I moved to Baltimore because I wanted to be around a bunch of other cities and states, and where I was at in Rochester, it was too cold and too far. So I had to come somewhere closer where I could make a staple in life, if you will. So I've been here a while.
I understand it. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Just tell us who you are and your story as to how you became to start running for president.
Okay, well, actually, I've been in the music business for about 35 years. I've been in the music business a long time. I used to work with Stellar Awards about 15 years. I was on their board of governors, actually the advisory board for when they started their academy, Stellar Award Gospel Music Academy. So I'm one of the staples in that academy. And I worked with them for like 15 years. And then I was nominated twice for the board of governors for the Grammys, and which is pretty much the highest board you can get your name on with the Grammys. Now, I didn't get the position, but it did offer me the opportunity to start my own awards show, the Newsome World Awards. So now we just celebrate our 20th year, but not knowing that God was setting me up, because the fame the Newsome Awards gained from going around the world just launched me into the political arena. So now, with me running for the presidency, but I was like in 4 elections before this one. So I ran for Maryland House of Delegate, District 44B, Maryland House of Delegate, District 10. Then I ran for mayor of Baltimore in 2020. Then I was running with a friend of mine for governor of Maryland. And then now the presidency this is like my 5th election, but I'm very familiar with elections, know how they run, know how they flow. And so, when I hear other candidates say, well, they're not politicians, well, I am. I've been doing this a long time. I didn't wake up yesterday and start doing this. So the next outline for me is the presidency, because I ran with a gentleman for governor and then all those other mayor and all those other positions. Next outline for me is the presidency, but I'm not new to this. And unfortunately, the people that are running, they're kind of new. They're kind of wet behind the ears, so to speak. And it's time for righteousness to reign. It's time for godliness to reign. And it's time for God to take the throne of the White House and of this country, because everybody see, like I see, this country is in a mess, and it's getting messier. And it's time to stop this right now. So actually, if you can see behind me, the Newsome Party, I actually have my own political party, the Newsome Party. Okay. And it's a party of righteousness. It's a party of godliness. And this is the new platform. So now I'm coming under the Newsome Party as a presidential candidate under my own political party, because righteousness has to reign. God has to take the throne. And I'm here to make sure, me and my team, we're here to make sure God sits back on the throne. So in my lifetime, I've never seen a righteous president in my lifetime. And my running mate, Empress Jennifer Gelencia Muhammad, she's and talking about history, this would be history to have a Black president, a Black running mate, and then the presidential candidate running under his own political party. This has never ever been heard of. So this is all history. Being on this broadcast is all history, because anybody associated with this is all history, because it's never been done before. This is the first time. So we're off to an amazing start. God has opened so many doors for us and done so much, and not knowing me being in the award show business would take my name around the world. And now the presidential run just adds to it now. So, you never know what God is setting up and you never know what God is doing. But I tell people all the time, Todd, if they just trust the words of God and they do what God tells them to do, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. You may not see it then, but if you stick with it, I promise you, God will justify everything he told you. Everything. His word will not return back unto him void, but what the Bible says it will accomplish that which he pleases. And that's what y'all seeing today. A presidential run from a black candidate and my running mate, a female and black. And so it's all this is history. I'm just basking in the glory of God that, all this history is being made. So I'm really excited.
I love it. Sounds exciting. And you are so right. When you put God first in things that you do, you will be amazed as to who God will put you in touch with and how you make those connections, how you're able to network further than you have ever done before. So, yeah, I do understand all of that. Absolutely. So, one of the things I wanted to ask was like, what was your initial thing that inspired you to even go into politics?
But actually, a friend of mine asked me about going into politics, and she said, "You know what, Mr. Newsom, you would be great in politics." She said, "You know people, you talk to a lot of people, you do the award show, you meet a lot of people." She said, "You'd be great to go into politics." And I said, "Well, I never really thought about it." And she said, "You should try it." So, and I said, "Okay." Moderately, reluctantly, I was like, "Okay, I give it a shot just because you said it." But
Right.
now, once I gave it a shot, listen, Todd, it was like no turning back around. It was like no turning back around. Once I jumped in there and saw, and listen, I saw the crookedness of so many people, and I understand why they are so crooked. Because once money comes on the table, money changes people. Money changes people in a big way. And I told my friends that I helped get into office, I said, listen, y'all start doing this illegal stuff and you start taking money. I said, I promise you, I'm going against you. I said, now I don't mind helping you get into office and this, I don't mind all those things, but you start doing illegal stuff, unethical stuff. I said, I promise I'm going against you and I'm bringing you out of that office. And those are my friends. so, so they're like, no, Mr. Newsom, no, Dr. Newsom, gonna we're gonna do what we were supposed to. As I'm telling you now, I said I'm watching you, and you guys mess up. I said I promise I'm coming after you. So you make sure you do right in that office. They know, like, okay, you mess up. I promise you, I'm coming after you. So make sure you stay on point with what you're supposed to do. And till this day, they running with it because they know I'm not coming playing no games. They know I'm serious. So, but it's good. It's good. I love it. I would anybody that want to do right, I would encourage them to get in the political arena. But you have to basically know politics. You have to know law. You have to know procedures, and you have to want to come in to make a difference, to make a change. If people don't want to come in to make a difference and make a change, then this is not for them. If they want to come in stealing and all this stuff and taking bribes, no, this is not for them. This is not that arena. This is a good, godly arena. People make it bad, but it's really good, just like the church. You can go to a good church, but all you need is a few members or a bad pastor, and all of a sudden you got a bad church. But people can still go, but it's still bad church. So you want to do good. You want to make sure you're flowing on every avenue, and that's the big difference that you have to have when you come into the table. Want to do right, and that's what the Newsom Party is, a party of righteousness. If people want to do right, we would love to have them at the Newsom Party. If they don't, we do not want them. That's not what we're looking for.
And how did you choose Dr. Muhammad to be your running mate?
Well, actually, we've been working together for about 7 years. I do in the Newsom Awards, I do a Newsom Award beauty pageant. That's part of the halftime of the show. And I wanted Dr. Muhammad to be over my pageant. And, because I saw a lot of postings she was doing on Facebook, and I was like, okay, she's doing pretty good. I said, that'd be a good one to have over the Newsom Award beauty pageant. So I asked her, and she was like, she agreed to do it. And it just launched from there because then God told me to get the Newsom Queens and develop these women to pull their gifts and their talents out of them and so forth. So we developed the Newsom Queens. And I asked her, I said, well, you want to build these Newsom Queens? And she was pretty much like, what's a Newsom Queen? And I told her what it was, helping the women. Because during our pageant, right? And I heard so many stories, Todd, that a lot of things that women were going through. And their husbands would tell them they're ugly, their boyfriends would tell them they're ugly, they're no good, you'll never amount to nothing. And God just told me, no, strengthen them. And that's what I did. And it would start with the pageant. But then God just branched it off to the Newsome Queens. Now there's probably 200 or 300 Newsome Queens and Kings all over the world. But it started with that. But I had asked Empress Jennifer to be over the Newsome Queens, and she was over them. She helped develop them. She helped bring them to status that they're at now. So she did a whole lot. And then now, when it came down to running mate for the presidency, I said, well, I asked somebody else, but they didn't respond fast enough. So I went to somebody else. So, and that's how I ended up with Empress Jennifer, because anybody know me, I'm not waiting for nobody. If I ask you something and you take more than 2 minutes, I'm pretty much going to somebody else. Yeah, I don't get long at all.
A little bit more than 2 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, I don't give much time at all.
I saw that you said people need to add you to the ticket. So why should the voters write your name, on the ballot for the presidential race?
Well, let me say this. So what I've been hearing since my lifetime is everybody saying, well, I guess I'll vote for the lesser of two evils. Lesser two evils, lesser two evils. And I thought about it, and God just put in my heart, why are godly people voting for evil? Why are godly people voting for evil? And this is the words that came out of my, I guess I'll vote for lesser two evil. Okay, so now a righteous man is in position. The righteous man is on the throne. So now you should be voting for righteousness. Because me, even in the 2020 election, I didn't vote for the lesser two evils. I put in my own name. See, you have the option to put in your own name. You'll see the Republican candidate, you see the Democratic candidate, but then you see a blank spot. You can actually write in your own name. You don't have to write in the candidate's name. So that being the case, since I know the rules of the political arena, because like I said, I'm not new to this. Most of you look at Kamala, Trump, they're new to this. They've been in a arena, but not this arena. So they're not familiar with how this works. But in that event, you can actually write in my name in all 50 states and Washington, D.C. So there's a plethora of outline there to put in my name. And one, I come with a platform of righteousness, I come with a platform of godliness, but I come with a platform of knowledge. I told people, if you look at Trump, you look at Biden, you look at Bush, I said, you can combine those three together and their knowledge wouldn't equal my knowledge, even if you combine all those three together. Because they don't come with a platform, they don't come with a strategy, they don't come with an outline. That's why during the Bush administration, you had the housing market where most houses were underwater. You look at the Trump administration, where he was basically trying to cater to the businesses, to the wealthy. You look at the Biden administration, I couldn't even tell you what Biden did, and he's been in there 4 years, 3 or 4 years already. I can't tell you one thing he did. It's not that I'm putting anybody down, but the Bible says your work shall speak for you. But if you haven't done any works, that's why nothing is speaking on their behalf, because there's nothing that they've done to garner any attention. The economy was destroyed when Bush was in office. President Obama had to jump in and try to save as much as he could. Trump tried to destroy as much as he could. And Biden, he's just, I don't even know why he's there. I have no clue. So I mean, they're no good candidates, but hence everybody said, well, vote for the lesser two evils. Now you don't have to vote for evil. Vote for godliness, vote for a righteous man. And even if you have to write my name and write it in, it doesn't matter. It still would count, even if you write my name in. So people should now, saying they church folks and they love God and they, led by the Holy Spirit. And if the Holy Spirit is telling you to vote for evil, then I don't think that's the Holy Spirit, though. I can't see the Holy Spirit telling you to vote for evil. No, and that's the agenda they're bringing. And I tell people all the time, I'm not making up nothing new. This has been the Democrats and Republican agenda. I've been a Democrat for all my life till I switched over to the Newsom party, but I've been a Democrat all my life, and I know their agenda. They will probably give the poor people maybe a couple of $10, $12 or more food stamps. They won't focus on education. They won't focus on business because that's not a Democrat's agenda. Generally, the Republicans focus on the wealthy and business and building businesses up. That's not an agenda of a Democrat. So I'm just laying. And when I put it out to people, they're like, no, Dr. Newsom, no, King Newsom. No, I said, you just don't want to hear the truth. And the truth hurts. Yes, the truth does hurt because people don't want to identify themselves on the truth. But the truth is what will set us free all at the same time. So people have to hear the truth. because that's the only way they're going to be free.
So what can the voters gain from your administration, since you say that you have an outline? So what is
Well,
it
actually, and that's a good point. But actually, what the voters would gain from my administration is they would gain a balanced playing field. In other words, for example, when a disaster happens or whatever have you, usually Wall Street gets the majority of the money, and usually the citizens of the United States don't really get nothing. Now, it's been several disasters in the last 8 to 12 years, but the citizens on Trump's administration, he gave them $600 and $1,200. But see, then nobody talks about the 1.7 trillion Wall Street got. See, that has never been a conversation. It always talked about the $600 that the citizens got, the $1,200 that the citizens got. Then some small businesses got a few $1,000s, but they're not focusing on the $1.7 trillion out of the $2.3 trillion bill that Trump signed. Nobody talking about the $1.7 trillion that Wall Street pocketed. See, I come to balance those playing fields. I come to make sure every citizen is treated right. And then there's so much going on in the country, and you have to handle it piece by piece. You can't just frivolously just go out there and say, oh, well, we're just going to do what we're going to do. No, you have to have a strategy. You have to have a plan. For example, if I look at the war between Israel and Hamas, I said 2 or 3 months ago, I said it wouldn't be a good idea for the United States to jump into this war. Reason being is that other countries will look at Israel and look at United States jumping on this little country. And I said, but it's going to incite other countries that they're going to just start fighting, and they don't care if they lose their whole army. They're not going to let the United States and Israel beat up this little country. And sure enough, Iran just jumped in and just started shooting off missiles, shooting off missiles, shooting off missiles. I said, listen, I told y'all that was going to happen, because the countries were not going to sit there and watch two superpowers beat up on this little country. That was not going to happen. But the current administration had no knowledge of anything like that. So now we got this full-scale war going on where, and I understood and I said, this is what's going to happen. But now I said, if I was president right now, I would actually have the United States back out of that Israel war. And then I would talk to the president of Iran and say, listen, let's call a truce here. Let's not send off missiles, and let's not send off bombs and so on and so forth, because they're bombing Israel terrible. You know, Israel going to retaliate sooner or later, but even in their retaliation, other countries are looking, because if Israel retaliate in the wrong way, other countries are going to jump into the war, and that may be a big start to World War III. And that's what you don't want. I don't want our innocent boys and girls, men and women going to war senselessly, because it makes no sense for this war going on right now. And that's what the Newsom administration will bring to the table, because now I'm all about peace. David said, I'm for peace, but they're for war. I'm all about peace. I'm not looking to see any American soldiers die for nonsense. That war Bush started was a nonsense war. And look how many people died on a lie that he told. See, I'm not into none of that. And that's what everybody been getting with the last presidents that we had, is that they always start in trouble and then throwing rocks and then putting their hands down as if they didn't throw the stone. Yeah, they threw the stone. They started it. But you will never know America started it, because why? They start trouble, and then they back out.
You want to change about the world?
One thing I want to change about the world is actually, I want to stop the United States from getting into things we have no business into. Because one, I'm big on saving lives. I said the number one, when I ran for mayor of Baltimore in 2020, I said the number one job of the mayor of any city is to preserve all life. Well, actually, nobody agreed with me. Nobody agreed the number one job of the mayor was to preserve all life. I said it's not economics, it's not commerce, it's not anything but to save lives. If that's not the number one job of the mayor, of the president, of the governor of any state, if their number one job is not to preserve all life, then you got the wrong person. That's the first and foremost thing I'm bringing to the table. How do we preserve all American lives? People don't want to see their sons and daughters on the battlefield. People don't want to see their sons and daughters' lives lost. They don't want to see crime everywhere. They don't want to see all these things. So the platform has to be set to where we handle all these things. Like I said, I'm not new to this. When I ran for mayor of Baltimore, I put these same things on the table to get rid of homelessness. They said, well, Dr. Newsome, how would you get rid of homelessness? I said, we would get rid of homelessness in one day. They said, that's impossible. I said, well, let me show you how. and I'm on the stage of 1,400 people in the audience. I'm on the stage, and I said, I'm going to give you the answer how to get rid of homelessness for the mere fact I don't want to see any more lives lost. And I told them, this is how you get rid of homelessness in one day. And when they heard it, obviously people are like, oh my gosh, that well, can that really happen? No, it can't happen under your administration because you don't know what you're doing. See, I may put an idea on the table, an outline on the table, but you would need me to execute it because I'm the one who know how it go. See, we trying to snatch up people's ideas and then think we can execute it and it's not going to work because they don't know the strategy we was bringing to the table. And that's one of my biggest things that no, I want to stop these unnecessary people dying. Now, people die of natural causes, obviously, but no, I want to make sure I preserve all life in the country as much as I possibly can. You know, and I want to make sure there's a lot of things that need to be done in America. A lot of things, racism, the border, so many things that only a Newsom administration, I believe, can handle. Because I've been looking at these other administrations for the last 8 to 12 to 16 years, and they're not handling nothing, and it's still going on as 40 years ago to this very day. So obviously, we're picking the wrong people for the position.
All right. How has running for president changed your life? I think you touched on it a little bit earlier, but how has it changed your life running for president?
Well, it's good because I would have an opportunity to help people in a big way. Now, like I said, this is my 5th election, so I'm very familiar with the election cycle and the outline. But I think the presidency would add the cream to the crop that needs to be added. I think with my life, God has been doing great things in my life already. And I like to tell people, I just think this is another part of the icing on the cake because God has already been doing great things in my life. So, and like I said, the presidency for me would be the next step. I ran for House of Delegate, ran for mayor, helped a friend of mine that ran for governor. So for me, the presidency would be the next step. And it's all a part of the political process, just like doing award shows. You know, a lot of award shows around the country come to me for advice because, I mean, it's kind of like as you go on a thing and as you learn more and more and more about it, you begin to master that thing. Then after you mastered it, then you just flow with it. Because once you learn it, it's like playing basketball. Once you learn it, you just keep going and going because now you have mastered that thing.
You become an expert in your field. So, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You become an expert in your field, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. What is so what are some things other than the presidential race that you are working on yourself?
Well, I actually got several events coming up. I'm doing a Newsom World Awards Festival this Saturday, October 12th in Cambridge, Maryland. So that's going to be from 12 to 4 in Cambridge, Maryland. Then that next Saturday, I'm doing Newsom Theater and Film Awards, and we're going to be honoring individuals in the movie called My Private Line to God. That's getting recognition all over the country, all over the world. So we're glad at that. And then after that event, that same day, we're going to be doing a Newsom World Award concert, which is going to be after that. And then we're playing other things throughout the year. So we got quite a few events on the calendar. So I'm excited about it. And then we're preparing for our Newsom World Awards in 2025 in August. So God is just doing, he's just doing so much. He's just doing so much.
That is awesome. So I did see where y'all were traveling, you know, as the other candidates do, you know, talking to the people and things like that. So how has that been going, and what are some of the states that you are hitting to, you know, promote your campaign?
So actually, I developed what we call a flyer campaign. So basically, I know, since being in the music business, I know people all over the country, all around the world. So now and like I said, God was setting me up for this. So now I'm taking them connections I have all over the country, around the world, and I'm actually sending them flyers of their different cities and of their different states and of their different countries, and asking them to pass out those flyers with their family, friends, co-workers, church members, and then asking them to do the same thing. So that is going very well. We've been in Maryland, we've been in Washington, we're going to Delaware, Virginia, North Carolina, then we're going to South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Texas, California. We're blanketing the whole country because I know people, Illinois, I mean, at least 30 of the 50 states. So we're hitting at least 30 of them of the 50 states now, and then we'll cover the other 20. So our outline is amazing. It doesn't cost us anything to produce our flyers and all, because we do everything in-house. We do pretty
Okay.
much 100% of everything ourselves. Other people have to outsource it, but that's our biggest advantage, because I've been doing this for so many years that this is just another staple in what we're doing. So for us to produce the flyers and the website and all this stuff, it doesn't cost us anything because we do it all ourselves. And then we're asking family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, and we'll send the flyer to them, and they'll print it off and pass it out in their community, pass it out in their homes, pass it out in their state. So we got so many people that's doing so many things. And one person actually got connections in 20 states. So they're passing the flyer out in 20 states. See, so God has outlined and orchestrated this whole thing, and being on this broadcast. See, people don't understand. They try to, you can't, in this outline, Queen, you can't exclude anybody because you don't know
Absolutely.
who God gonna work through. You don't know who God gonna work through. You don't know who. You don't know
Yeah.
none of those things. But as God lead and guide you, I just go with the flow. You know, I don't care what nobody say, like, oh, King Newsom, you shouldn't do that. No, if God tell me to do it, I'm gonna do it. I don't care what you say. I'm gonna do it because you don't know what's the next blessing behind it. Being on your broadcast, I don't know what the next blessing behind this. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Right. When Amina sent over the opportunity to me, I wasn't sure what she was talking about. I was like, President of what? And she was like, United States. I was like, sure. And I was so thankful that she gave me that opportunity because she was a former guest of mine on the show. And so you're right. When you
Mm.
network with people and things like that, they'll think about you. And so she thought of me to give me this opportunity to do that. So for my platform and what I'm doing, this is an opportunity for me as well. So thank you so much for that, because that was awesome. So
Yeah,
now we got to,
really amazing.
yes, absolutely, it is, and that's what we should do. We should be, giving honor, as you started at the top of our show, giving honor to God, and just you know um, having Him be the head of everything that we do. And I think that's how we get as far as we get, and we're able to make those opportunities, and also able to help other people, get where they want to go and change things in their life. So I love that about you and what you've been speaking about. Definitely, I like it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I know, and I have to tell you, my mother's love. My mother passed away in 2007, but the love she showed, Todd, is you can't get rid of it. You can't get it out your heart. And even when I saw my mother helping everybody when I was a kid, I'm like, Mom, why are you helping all these people? And tell them to go home. And she's like, well, Fred, I'm gonna help them if they're here. I'm gonna help them. I'm like, Mom, but so in the house we had 9 children. My mom had, I had 9 brothers and sisters in the house. 18 altogether. So
Oh
in the
wow!
house, to me, in my mind's eye, there was no money to help nobody else.
Right.
Money to help nobody else. But my mom always found a way. And when I got older, I'm like, my mom helped everybody, but now I do the same thing. The apple
Yeah.
don't fall far from the tree. So
Not, not at all. All right, so we're going to go to what I call just a little fun portion of the show. Is just on a personal note. So
mhm.
one of the things we want to know, what is one thing that people misunderstand about you?
You know what? People think I'm a big dreamer. Like, oh well, you ain't gonna do this and you ain't gonna do that, and you just dream big. And then so when I start working with the Stellar Awards, but before I start working with the Stellar Awards, I told my friends, I was like, man, I would love to work with the Stellar Awards. And this was years ago. And they're like, yeah, Fred, you ain't gonna never work with the Stellar Awards. I said, well, you never know. So
Right.
I told them, I said, you know what? I'm gonna contact the Stellar Awards and ask, can I do bus trips to their show? This was when they were on number 11. Number 11, Todd. Listen. And I called him. I said, and I called him. I said, do y'all mind if I do bus trips to your show and get people to come to the Stellar Awards and so on? So now I realized they was kind of just starting themselves. They was only on number 11. And I was like, and they're like, yeah, we don't mind you do bus trips to the show. I said, good. So I want to bring some people down and show them Stellar Awards. And I ain't really know a whole lot about Stellar Awards then. But I was like, you saw it on TV a few times.
Mhm.
And I said, well, let me do it. So I did it. I did bus trips for 1 year, for 2 years, for 3 years. And I gained a good relationship with the people there, right? And I became good friends with them. So when they started their academy, Stellar Award Gospel Music Academy, they asked me, did I want to be one of the first members of that academy?
Wow.
And I said, let me pray about it. And I prayed about it, and God said, do it. And so I'm one of the staples of the Stellar Award Gospel Music Academy, which is the official voting body of the Stellar Awards. See, you never know what God is planning for you. But people always tell me, you dream too big and you do this. I said, no. I said, well, if God let me do it, I'm going to do it. But okay, if he don't, then at least I tried. But see, but I said, some of y'all won't even try though. At least try. And if it don't work out, if it don't, you the first you don't succeed, they say try again. I say try something again.
Right. Absolutely. I love it. And you have to dream big and you have to, I don't think God has brought us here to be mediocre. So I am in a process of just doing some things different. Learning more. I've always been a person who always learned, but just doing things because there are some more things that I want to do. And so I'm excited to do big things. So yeah, absolutely.
Good. See, and I'm 10,000% behind you because I can see for the mere fact when God blessed me to come on a program, and this is a blessing, Sister Queen. Please understand, this is a blessing. I don't care about all that stuff people talk about. What King Newsome, you did this, that don't mean nothing. I told Empress Gelencia, don't worry about what happened yesterday. Yesterday's gone. We focusing on today and in the future. Right now, with me, you today with me. So whatever God is going to do right now and in the future, he's planning all that. There's a reason that I'm on here. There's a reason that you're on here. There's a reason that you listen. If the Newsome Queens were to tell you where they were at when they came to me and where they're at now, look, one of them running for mayor of Washington D.C., who said she hates politics. She's like, I said no. I said God told me you're gonna run for mayor of D.C. She said no, King Newsome, I'm not doing that. I said Queen, you are going to do it. She said no, 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 I'm not doing that. Listen. When she put her head in the ring for mayor of DC, she loved it so much. This is her second time running. See, the thing of it is, I told him the other day when I did the kickoff, the campaign kickoff. I said, what God has blessed me to do, I can see other people's gifts in them. I can see like you being on this live. I can see there's more you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do more with fashion, with modeling. You're supposed to do more with all those things. And I just met you, but I'm telling you, these things you're supposed to do more with. Whatever reason you're not doing them, God is going to move all that out your way. I'm telling you, sis, you'll be contacting me next couple 2 or 3 months, like King Newsome. You know what? We did that broadcast. You think I'm watching? See, every Newsome Queen that I'm telling you about, you talk to them like, what did King Newsome do for you? I said, well, he helped encourage me. He helped me get into broadcasting. He helped me in the music business. If you go to my website now, I'm promoting 2 people who Grammy nominees for consideration for people to vote for them to get them on the ballot.
That's
See,
awesome.
sis, I'm telling you, listen, your brother is sitting here telling you God has greatness prepared and in store for you. I don't care what nobody told you in the past. I don't care what happened in the past. None of that means anything. Today is a new day. This is the first day of the rest of your life. This is your future. You don't just have me on here talking about no presidential election, no presidential run. No, God is ministering to you. Listen, you better listen to me and watch the doors God open up for you. If you doubt, then there's nothing I can do about that. But if you listen, like, what are you talking about through King Newsom? What is this all about? I'm telling you, watch and see. A month or 2 from now, you're gonna be a totally different queen. You're gonna be a totally different woman. I promise you.
Well, I definitely receive all of that. Absolutely. And I am truly a believer that God can do all things. And you do have to have the faith. You have to believe it because without believing, it's not going to work. So I do. I believe that.
Exactly. Look at it. Come on, Jesus.
All right. So, and what do you want to leave as a legacy?
You know what? What I wanted to do with the Newsom party, with my political party, I want that party to be all over the world, 1. And then 2, I want people to understand when you're a part of the Newsom party, we're about change. We're not the same old, same old. We're not interested in the same format that any other party is under. No, we're about change. And I want everybody in the Newsom party to feel they have to help everybody else. Anybody that feels selfish in this party, I don't want them in the party. It's not for them. I want everybody in this party to feel they have to help everybody else. And that's what I teach the Newsom Kings and Newsom Queens. You're supposed to help everybody else. If you think you're the greatest person on earth, then according to Jesus standards, if you're the greatest, you should be the servant. If you're the greatest and you're not the servant, then somebody's wrong. And chances are we're going to be wrong. So I want to see everybody in the Newsom party to be a blessing to everybody else around this country, around this world. And that's why God blessed me to start the Newsom party. Because everybody have to learn to be a blessing. Even the ones that come in through the political arena, they're like, you know what, I want to run for mayor of the Newsom party, or governor of the Newsom party, or president of the Newsom party. I want them to understand and realize and know they're a part of the best party in the world because God is the head. This is what I tell people I want to leave my outline with all, not only my family, my children, but I want to leave the outline with the world. Like, okay, this is what King Newsom stood for. This is what the Newsom party is about. And I want to be a staple in their life to where I want unlimited jobs. I don't ever want anybody to say, I don't have work, I don't have a job. I don't want nobody ever say that. You don't have a job here. Come join the Newsom party. We got plenty of work to do. Plenty of work.
Right.
So that would be my biggest thing I would want to leave with everybody, like, stabilize those families in the country and around the world. That would be my biggest thing. Yeah, big old smile.
That's awesome. I love it. And my final question, which I did put it over to you, but what is your favorite Bible verse?
My favorite Bible verse, I would say, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes on him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Because God actually didn't have to send his son. He didn't have to. He did it by choice. So if listen, God gave up his best. So what are we gonna do, sis? I mean, if he gave up his best, shouldn't we just give our life to him? Shouldn't we just belong to him? I
Oh,
think so. I think we should every single morning, every single day. I think we should acknowledge God somehow, some way. Even if you just say, thank you, God, for another day, or thank you, God, for waking me up this morning. Just give him that first part of the day. If it's a minute or 10 seconds or whatever, just give him that first part of the day. Let God know you appreciate the opportunity that you're breathing his air. We're breathing his air. He breathed into man, breathed in man's nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So we're breathing God's air. So no, I try to acknowledge God every single morning, because that's what life's about. It's all about him anyway. See what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Well, I thank you so much for coming on. Tell everybody how they can follow you on social media and support your campaign and all of your social media that you want to share.
All right, they can follow me on Facebook under Frederick Ware Newsome. I have several Facebooks: Frederick Ware Newsome, the Newsome Party, or the Newsome Gospel Music Awards. But generally, I'm usually on Frederick Ware Newsome all the time. So they can definitely follow me on there, or they can go to our website, www.newsomeawards.com, www.newsomeawards.com, and they can definitely contact us there and see all the things that we're doing, because we do a lot. We do a whole lot, and we're pulling in more and more people. We're getting ready to do our Newsome fashion show. We're doing a concert. We're doing theater and film awards. And so we do about 5 award shows: the Newsome Theater and Film Awards, the Newsome Heroes Awards, Newsome Music Awards, Newsome Fashion Awards, and the Newsome World Awards. So we do quite a bit, and we're always encouraging other people to just join on board. So when we get into the acting and the plays, see, that's open for everybody. And even if they don't know how to act, I'll teach them. See, so they don't have no excuse to say, oh, I can't do it. Okay, great, you can't. Good, I'll teach you. See, a lot of people that work with me, I taught them a whole lot of things. People wouldn't know that, but I taught them a whole lot. There's things they told me they couldn't do. I taught them how to do it. So that's the way we have to work together as one. And that's the beauty of life.
It is. All right, guys. So you can follow me on social media. You can follow me on Facebook as Tot Carter and TikTok as Tot Carter. You can follow me on Instagram as Talking with Tot and Ivy Tot 10. All right, go ahead, Dr. Newsome, and tell everybody goodbye.
All right, I appreciate all of you viewing, and I appreciate Carter for being the host of the hostesses. And I really appreciate the opportunity. And she didn't have to do it, but she did. So glory and honor to God, and amazing blessing to Queen Tot and everything she's doing. I pray that God prosper you and your listening audience as far as he possibly can take you all. Thank you.
Thank you.